Thank you. Thank you so much. I love you. I love you all. Thank you. I'm from Sudan, and this what you see behind me is typical pictures that you will find whenever you search Google. You put Sudan, you will find these kind of images. This Sudan, as perceived in the media, this Sudan that I'm developing, the communities of intellect in action, people where they gather, they will change the status, the situations from point A to point B. In Sudan, we have a couple of borders that we should cross as soon as possible, just to reach out where the future is heading to. We have borders in education. We have high literacy. We have problem in access to information. We have problem in languages. We have over 70 languages in Sudan. I mean it, 70 languages, not to mention the dialects. Okay? Arabic happened to be the dominant and the official language in Sudan. So people communicate in Arabic, even in the southern Sudan, the new formed country, there is a version of Arabic called Arabic Juba, where the southern tribes themselves, they communicate with each other using this kind of language, the Arabic Juba. Well, I'm an educator myself. I'm passionate about education, and I know how important it is for development of any nation and how crucial it is to have education at the center of the development. 2009, I was in South Korea, and yes, this is a Korean, Chumbuk Dihakyo. I was doing my PhD in computer science, and we have a kind of culture to sharing anything that come to our hands. I throw a video to a friend of mine, he throw me a link, and so on. And one day, we were focusing on data mining and the multidisciplinary research and so on. One day, Ibrahim Musa, who was doing his master's back then in South Korea, he sent me a link to this talk. It was from YouTube back then. How statistics fool the juries. It was so interesting for me. I'm a researcher, and I do a lot of presentations. You know the academic presentations, how it looks. It's so dull, right? It's boring. But now there is a piece of content around the statistics, and there is an element of storytelling. It was so interesting for me. So the neurons of the research just poop. I need to know where this video came from. So I went to TED.com, the website. And one of the links that says there is an open translation project. Because that video, what came to my inner self, this video and this content should be shared with my friends, my collaborators, the research collaborators, my colleagues, my friends, my brothers, my sisters, my nation. So how can I do that? And then I found this open translation project where I can use the subtitles, translate them into Arabic, and give it for free to my friends as a gift, to my daughter as a security for her future, to thank the speaker himself or herself who gave it for free. And since June 2009, I've been through a wonderful journey, diving deeply inside, all sorts of sciences, from the space into the deep blue seas, from, the kindergarten into the professorship, all sorts of stories, all sorts of stories. It was a wonderful, it is, and it will continue as a wonderful story. I've met fascinating people, amazing people, extraordinary people through this open translation project. We had different workshops here and there. We discussed how we can improve this, how we take the project from here to the other level. We've met a couple of times, 2 times in the United States, 2 times in the United Kingdom, and we always on Facebook together. Yes. I'm one of the most active volunteer translators at TED. And yes, I spent more than 2 years of working hours. I do this because it's crossing borders by its nature. We are crossing the border of the language, the border of the ideas, the border of the nationality, the border of the religious, the border, whatever border it is. 2 years of working hours. Frankly speaking, I didn't count it. My friend did the math. She said, okay, you have 2 years of translating TED Talks. I said, okay, it was doing. But it wasn't only about that. It wasn't only about translating and crossing borders. There is an extra mile here. I translated the talk of J.D. Schramm. He was talking about preventing the second trial of committing a suicide. So the talk is really wonderful. The idea of saving lives. You committed suicide once, you are saved, you will commit again. So how to prevent? It's really great notion, right? Then I went to TED Active conference. And I saw him speaking at the stage, live, just like me now, in front of you. And while he was speaking, he said, me and my husband were... I looked to my friend, the fellow translator, I said, did he say, my husband? He said, yes. He's a gay. At that point, I had conflict emotions because of my social upbringing. Muslim, being raised and grown up in Sudan, I know there is gays, I know there is homosexuality, but this was the first time for me I see someone openly say I am a gay, I'm my husband, and I was involved in translating his TED Talk. So, it was a conflict time for me. It's not crossing the borders of the language and the barriers. It's now about crossing my inner borders, my beliefs, my cultural upbringing. Shall I say this to my friend? Shall I share this with those who consume the talks, the Arabic-speaking words? There are 300 million speaking Arabic language. TED celebrated 1 billion views of the TED Talks. A big pie of this consumption was from the Arabic-speaking countries. I'm so proud of this. But shall I share this with my community? There's other piece here. It's not about he's an atheist or Jewish or Christian. I translated all sorts of speakers' talk. It's about being gay in my culture, how my culture is perceiving this specific notion. But there must be a crossing border here, right? The talk that I translated is still the same. The idea I've translated is still the same. The only thing that changed was my perception, right? Right? So what? So what? So what? I needed to cross my inner border. I needed to share this with the community, with everyone, to cross my inner border. The idea was still the same. The lesson, what is the lesson that I got from this experience? It's not about how many translations I have published, rather, it's how I understood the essence of what I do. And the essence of what I do, I translate ideas. I spread knowledge. I'm not personalizing stuff, right? So I crossed my inner border. I crossed my inner border. Would you? Would you? Would you? Would you? Thank you.